Seth's music, and guess what? His music is our intro, and so we about to get started because it's time to get started.
All right.
Oh, Kurt.
I'm not religious no more, I'm off the cuff. Off to learn new things, I'm on a bus. Walking to my dreams in a tux. Everywhere I go is kingdom come. Dadgum, my inheritance so long that it causes conundrums. Wanna understand what I stand on. Yo, it's a brain blast, Jimmy Neutron, yeah. Don't need a mic to drop it, don't need a space to rock it. Don't gotta click the copy, I got it. They call me a pastor prophet, a prophet. I can't knock it, I can't stop it.
Yeah.
So, we about to just get right into it. Like, it's about to get real. So.
Wait, are you skipping?
What do you mean am I skipping the intro?
Here we go. Hatred, love, treason, patriot, friend, foe, agony, peace, camaraderie, hostility. Imagine you're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but a journey to a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead, your next stop, the American Zone.
Wow.
So, let's take you on a ride that you already seen before.
This is an NBC News special report.
And breaking news tonight, the deadly siege on Congress as an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol. We've seen shocking images of chaos, rioters rushing past barricades and police up the Capitol steps, forcing their way inside. Both the House and the Senate evacuated. Lawmakers moved to safe locations. The invaders roaming the abandoned Senate floor, one hanging from the balcony. Police with guns drawn inside the House. The violence erupting, one woman fatally shot outside the Capitol. Improvised explosive devices found. Several.
Say hello, everybody.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. And that's what this is all about. We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
chaos,
Oh my goodness.
calmness. Do you think that's enough? Is your mind pondering? Mindset. Ours are. And we will talk about it today. Welcome to the American Zone.
Oh my goodness.
What's good? It's your boy AJ with the Creatives. And yes, that was our take of the American Zone, aka the Twilight Zone. It's real, folks. And we're real, and we're gonna talk about it. So with no further ado, Coach Me, it's up to you.
Man, I don't know why, but like watching that video, there were so many different cringy things in that video. Like I'm literally practically at like a loss for words. I was at a loss for words when it happened, but like I'm like again at a loss for words because it's like why, how, like how, how? So
I got a couple answers for that. But
no, for sure, for sure.
Right. No, but yeah.
So look, for today's podcast, as you all already saw, we played this clip of just what happened on January 6th. So our takeaways for this evening, pretty much we're just going to be talking about a little bit, touching on the difference between racism and being prejudiced. 2021 being what you make it, it will be what you make it. And we're all in this together. So Mariah, I'm gonna pass it over to you so you can give us some stats, girl.
Oh, all right.
It's like, I don't even want to read this. She said,
This is a heavy one, man. This ain't no joke. Like,
wow. Go
that
ahead.
video got me over here just like, I don't know why I have this anger in me, but well, we're gonna talk about that later. So like the very first riot that has taken place happened, it dates all the way back to 1866. And that was considered like the most deadliest riot, the very first one. When it comes down to the stats for like the different, what would they call it? Different ethnicities or races in America, there's 59.7% white people, 16.7% of Hispanics, 12% Black people, and there's only 5.9% of Asians. So
I could imagine why they mad when it comes to the results. I'm like, bro, we don't even make up all the people who vote. It's like majority of the votes was from the white people there. It's like when they mad about, oh, the Blacks did it. I'm like, bro, we only like 12%. We're like 12%. So I don't know. I don't know why they tripping on that. I mean, like, we're only 12%. Y'all 59%. So that means 45% of you guys had to vote for the new president. So I was like, why you're mad? It's not us.
Wow. So it looks like we froze there for a little bit, but we're on track here. it's like what?
oh, wow.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. Oh my goodness.
I didn't even know they was even having riots way back then in the 1800s. I'm like, God, what were y'all writing about?
I mean, but I was like the first one was like with the Boston Tea Party, but I guess that didn't classify as a riot. So all right.
I think it was more like a protest fight.
That was, I guess, like in a sense, it was different because the Boston Tea Party, that all had to do with like us getting free from, you know.
Whoa. You gotta change. What do you mean by us? You gotta change the us. The us that's not wrong terminology.
Because at the end of the day,
with
like,
America, remember?
We all should just be Americans. Canadians are Canadians, you know? Americans should be
Americans. Yeah, all right.
English
but at that time, technically at that time he wasn't American, he was property. So therefore, at that time, we wasn't.
We were too busy building America at that time. In America. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. So before we get out too much from that video that we just watched, I got a question. So we already kind of said it a little bit, but for real though, how did that video make you feel? Mariah, you said that it made you feel angry.
I just want to go and just walk up to everybody who was there, just punch them in the face. That's how bad. I'm just like,
Real though. That's
if I knew I was not gonna get in trouble, I would actually go do that. Just go and track everybody down, and then just punch them in their face or something. I don't know. I'm so angry. I have this.
So that's cool, but why are you angry? Why do you want to punch everybody in the face?
I guess it's just the fact that I don't want to say they getting away with stuff, but it's just the fact that
Other people got away.
they pretty much went past all the security and everybody who was like guarding the White House, and they just taking selfies in the White House, like, hey, the party, whatever. Same thing. They just taking selfies and stuff, and I'm like, but let me would have like attempted to do that. Would I even be alive to even tell it to happen? Like, I don't know. It's just a lot of mixed emotions and feelings going on at one time. They just sitting there just taking selfies. Hey guys, I'm live here in the White House, like Capitol building, whatever.
Yeah. So to be okay, so with that video, yeah, like Michi said, it made her feel cringy, and I definitely agree with that. It's just like, okay, so I feel like just January 6th as a whole, I feel weird about it. Like, as it was happening, I literally didn't dive into it until after I got some facts. Like, I wasn't like, oh snap, like what we gonna do? Like, I wasn't, because I very really,
that's how it was too. Yeah.
with COVID, like I very really get all hype like immediately until like I'm like, all right, look, for real though, like, you know, until I get some freaking information. But I don't know. You know what bothers me about January 6th? And we're saying January 6th already. Like
Like,
know,
it's a thing. Look,
right.
look,
So
honestly,
so hold on.
it's like V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta.
Yeah, you know, remember the 6th of November?
Oh gosh. Right. So
I got you.
what bothers me is how people say it was a historical day. I'm like, I so wish that it wasn't. So like literally like just people calling it like a historical day makes me feel like it's giving it way too much credit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I understand. I mean, you know, they freaking went up inside the Capitol. Like, that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But like, I just feel like even mentioning it, it's like, it's just giving it too much power. Like, it's just like it was a foolish day. It was a.
I would say with that part when you say how they said it's like a big important day, historical day. I would say it is in an instance, but more international scale than anything. Or it's more like the whole world got just to see how dumb we are. I'm like, bro, like, I'm like, really? Now we can't, like, before there's that fake wall, like we can act, we can flex,
I don't know why
like, we can do all this, but now they see us like, no, you're bluffing, you're bluffing, you don't got nothing.
Was that you guys? Was that your cell phone? I literally thought that you had like real quick. I felt so prejudiced. Like the way you're holding your phone, like you were like this, like, you know, I was like, oh. I was like,
look, that right there is a problem. Like, no, granted, you know, we're all in time right now, but on a serious note, how many times has somebody been holding something that is not a weapon, and then something crazy happens to them? Like, especially in like situations like
scared of my wallet.
Right. It's like, you know, I grab my phone, and the next thing you know, it's like, okay. But in this instance, what happened there, one, we all know, if any of you guys have watched any type of movies, like we had just recently watched Snowden. And so this man, and I think he even spoke on what happened on January 6th. So this dude, he literally is like talking about all the stuff that the CIA does, all the research they do, all the information that they know. So they know what threat is going to happen before it happens. So how is it that there is a possibility y'all knew this threat was going to happen, but did not have people, like enough security there to mitigate said threat?
Oh no, they had plenty of security. That was the thing. They disarmed their security. They said, "Don't shoot." Basically, let them like. Do you really think that if the security
No,
was
'cause the
hold on a
security
second,
was there
hold on.
protest. They was up.
So
They
if
was
you
in there.
if okay, hold on a second. This is the Capitol. If you really think that only like what, like I think one person died or like a very minimal amount of people died from this thing, do you really think the security was really allowed to do their full job? No. If it was that easy to storm
There was
the
not.
Capitol, I can name a few groups of people who would have done that a long time ago. but yeah, so that's all.
The thing is,
Fake.
the current president knew it, so it had to be some word from up top to say let them through. That somebody up top, high up the chain, had to let that happen because let there be any other organized group.
Black Lives
I don't
Matter.
care who it is, race, anybody, any other organized group. I guarantee you, at least the National Guard probably would have been out there already.
Right. Okay, hold on a
Before
second. Okay, hold on. We got a clip of one of the protesters, and I saw this on TikTok, and I was like, maybe we gotta. A lot of people already seen this video, but just.
What happened to you?
I got maced.
You got maced.
By the police.
And what happened? You were trying to go inside the Capitol?
I made it like a foot inside, and they pushed me out, and they maced me.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And why did you want to go in?
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
What was her name again?
Huh?
What was her name again? What
I
she
think
said?
her name is Elizabeth.
Okay, so Elizabeth, hold on a
From
second.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right. Okay, first off, so I saw another video that got a close up of her little rag. Now I don't know if this is true, but it looked like she had a freaking onion in that in the rag. I don't know if y'all saw it, but it looked like she was rubbing it in onion. I don't know. That could have been false. But here's what I do know. You sound like a victim. How are you gonna storm the Capitol, get pushed out and get maced, and then you look like you're crying? Like you look like it's like, what do you expect to happen? Now, here's the thing though, Elizabeth. I hate to say it, but your skin saved you.
No, like
Your
but
skin
but
saved
that's
you today.
facts.
It's
Because,
just like nah.
Even in the clips that we showed, how many African Americans did you see out there?
I saw one random.
So with that,
I feel like
that segues into the next question. So which America do you live in? Because we all know on this podcast right now, let those people would have been a different color. We already know what the result. You think January 6th would have been a historical event? Okay. okay. It would have been another Black Wall Street, but worse.
Crazy. Being crazy. So it just like, yeah, nah. I can think of some situations, man, where look, so when I saw that stuff going on, I imagined myself being there and being like, oh snap, what they doing? Huh? Oh heck no, I'm out. No, heck trying to get caught up in this. Crazy. I'm sorry. I don't know. But okay, so sorry, to answer your question though, I'm sorry. To answer your question, which America do I live in? Well, I'm Black and Mexican. I live in two. However, back and forth, whichever one's more convenient at the time. I was like, oh, snap. The Cajun Nut people?
He's
all
like,
right, I'm
oh,
Black.
Okay, I'm Black.
Okay, well, anyway. So
you get on my nerves. Like I'm really mad you just
no,
said that right now.
but to be straight up, at times, and this is something that I'm working on. So this is honest. this is stupid. You know, like I just like, went like this. Then I was like, no, it, you know, and of course we all agreed that we need to talk about this. But for the most part, when stuff when you know, foolish stuff is going on in America, I very rarely post anything about it. If I do, you know, it's like I'm always gonna talk about the problem and then bring some kind of resolution to it. You know, I don't believe in posting and just, you know, kind of prolonging the madness. That's how I've always been with that kind of stuff. But sometimes kind of aggressive.
Mm-hmm. I forgot what the whole question was. I feel like
which America do you live in?
Here, everywhere.
I know.
Like,
I'm sorry. See, this is what happens. When I start to talk about explode, and then I start storming cat. So what do you? What do you?
Wow. Which America do I live in? So I feel like for me, I have like this. It's like this weird place because being in the military, there's like this level of, okay, what can I say and what can't I say?
Can I sit beside you? Welcome.
Right. Obviously, like when it's like when certain things are going on, there's like this side of me that like really gets very frustrated, especially when there's things that happen like racial injustices or especially being like, I think I was in middle school and seeing just everything that was happening with like ICE and, you know, people losing their family or people's families being deported. Like that for me, if America is supposed to be, you know, this melting pot, it's supposed to be melting pot. It's supposed to be a place where we can be free and where we can express ourselves. But more often than not, you see like being chained up, like being confined, not being able to like, you know, as an African American female, we're like the minority of the minority in America. And being a dark skinned like African American, that you're already shunned. But then it's like, and I'm a female too. Oh Lord, she must be this. She
that's a whole topic.
You know, it is. Well,
but to make me go off.
but it's like for me, and I don't know. You can talk about your experiences, Mariah. But I'm like, I be feeling like at times like, okay, so I gotta be careful how I do certain things because if I do it this way, then people are automatically going to be like, oh, well, she's just this out in ghetto, da 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 da. I'm like, Lord. I'm an American. Now, granted, when I went overseas for a little bit, girl,
he was about ready to leave her country. I was like, you are coming back, aren't you?
You go back.
It was the first time I actually felt like, not that I belong somewhere, but like when people asked me, they were like, the people out there, they would be like, oh, are you from Africa? But not even an insult. It was a good thing. Like they were asked that because it was a good thing. And I'm like, they didn't even think to ask me if I was American. And I was almost happy they didn't ask me if I was American.
Crazy.
Like, that's sad.
Crazy.
That is sad. Like, I barely want to be a social. Like, I love America. Don't get me wrong. I love America. But it's like, there's things that have happened in America that make me like question, does America love me? I love America, but does America love me?
I love you.
You got it out, girl.
No, hey, look. Yeah, someone else better because this whole black woman thing is about to make me go off. So y'all better talk. Go.
Oh Lord.
Please, it's bubbling inside.
Which America am I in? A part of? What was the question?
We just
Lord Jesus. I can't even tell you. I think with me, it's honestly, I can't even tell you.
You're in the I don't know America.
Yeah, I'm in a I don't know. It's just because like I'm like growing up, I didn't really experience like racism and stuff like that. I grew up like with all white people. So now, like living in the area that I live in now and working where I work at now, it's just like I feel like I'm a part of them, even though I know obviously looking at me and then looking at them, we're totally different people. But it's just like so I could be civilized. Like I feel like I'm part of the civilized America, the ones where we everybody gets along, everybody is nice to each other. There's no racial anything, stuff like that. And then when I do see like racism, at my job is like that. Like they treat me like I'm like we just the same. But no, but then when I see like when I go to certain parts and I see like all this fighting and just people being rude to each other and stuff like that, that's just something that is kind of shocking to me. Like, yeah, I know it happens, but like to see it up close is just like, oh my gosh, I am so embarrassed to be even over here right now. So I don't know. Like,
that's interesting. I got to comment on that one because it's like, yeah. So I grew up around in a melting pot too. Like I was around everybody, like every race. Like, so that's why I'm really chill around every race. Like I don't feel any way about anybody for real. But what the word that stuck out to me, what we just said is that you use the word civilized. And I was like, dang, because it's like people view a lot of African Americans or Latino or whatever. Well, let me just say this: minority people as uncivilized because they are not, Caucasian or whatever. And so but now it could appear that way, but what it is, because like when you like go to the ghetto, it can look kind of uncivilized, sure. However, this like what a lot of people messed up is that it's a different culture.
Yeah.
It's not uncivilized, it's a different culture. And so it just like I think, I don't know, like just when you use the word civilized, that just like rang in my spirit. I was just like, no, it's just like this culture, man.
So whenever you said that, okay, if you guys have not, I'm always throwing movie plugs or book plugs or something plugs. But if you have not seen
plug your ears.
Meet the Croods, the New Age, I think that it's the new one that
just
movie came out.
Hilarious.
So it's a very funny movie. But it like when it comes to like the civilization piece, like no, it is perfect because you have like and you can just look at the previews and you'll see this, but you have like the caveman and then you have the Bettermans. And so it's like these two different cultures and how they both don't want to interact with each other, or they think the other one's blah because they do something this way. But like by the end of the movie, they're able to mix. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that is what America should be. It should be, I come with my culture, you come with your culture, and we are able to mix.
Yes, I'm covering my beautiful face with your hand, by the way. People want to see me. just like, as I keep disappearing.
No, what was y'all saying over there?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I know y'all got something. What's up? What you got?
No, she was saying like sound like the trolls. I was like,
a little bit though.
I'm like, it's more musical wise. They just kind of get used to each other's sound.
Culture, yeah.
It's like that whole.
Goodness.
Ooh.
I didn't think it was.
Right. No, it's a lot.
I don't know. The America I live in is. I would say honestly, the America I live in is black and white. It's like it's just plain. There's no color in it. Because I grew up and I would say I always grew up in neighborhood situations where pretty much all the races everybody they got along. It's like, well, it's just in our nature. Like for instance, high school, blacks, whites, Mexicans, Asians, everybody got along. But sometimes during lunch, you know what happens? You just sat with your own race. It just happens. You just naturally have, like, you could be in class, you talk to your Mexican friend, yada, 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 come lunch, Mexicans over there, blacks over there. Or if you play sports or in a certain activity together, then y'all sat together. That's the only time they co-mingle. But if you're not in the activity, you gotta sit with people that's just like you or with your race. It's like, it's just.
Could it be because of the food?
Nah, the food wasn't that good.
You know, man, what the fried chicken at though?
Yeah, except for Tuesdays and Thursdays. But anyway, that's another story. But I still remember my lunch meeting to this day. Anyway, but but it's like growing up is just growing up. I was raised to know that when I walk out the door, everybody, if they're not anybody that's older, black, white, whatever, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, stop and don't move. If cop pull you, stop you, you just stop. Don't put your hands in your parking lot. It's just more just stand at attention and do whatever they tell you to do. It's just been raised like that. So been exposed to racist people, stuff like that. I haven't. I seen it. I heard it, but it wasn't towards me. Now I've been in.
I have a little bit.
Discriminated against, of course, but that's more just based off my appearance than my skin tone. It's just the vibe or how I dress or how I look. Shoot, her dad discriminated against me. He's waiting for something. He thought I was. So I was like, all right. Like he from the looks of it, looked like I was just a thug or somebody until you got to know I'm like this educated guy. I just dress this way, but I've always been raised that way. Shoot, I've been. The only thing I can say, I was raised a little prejudiced. I was raised with prejudice, and as I got older, I probably honed it some more, buffed it up some more from different interactions I had. But I'd probably say I was probably raised prejudiced about this much, and then my life I done pushed it up by this much. But like I'm just but like now, I'm not racist. I'm prejudiced.
You can't be racist.
Thank you. Explain why, please.
Okay.
For people, explain why.
So since you took it here, I'm gonna read this definition too. So that way, if y'all want to come check me later, you can. But you ain't gonna have nothing to check me on. So when I was in my class back in high school, it was an African American Studies class, and my teacher said to us, and this is what I do too. He was like, "Black people cannot be racist," and I looked at him and I was like, "How not? I feel this way about this and this and this, right?" So I was all ready, and he said,
"Give back my racist card."
No. So the definition of racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. That right there says that the superior, whoever is considered the superior race are the ones who can be racist. Now, everybody else, the minorities or the marginalized folks, we are prejudiced. And yes, we have our prejudice.
Now, neither are good.
No, they're not.
So just a disclaimer.
Neither are good. Disclaimer. But
we're not condoning it at all. No.
I was like, just a disclaimer. We all need some healing. But
yes, no, and that is fact.
But that's interesting.
That's fact.
That's interesting. I can't tell if I feel better about that now. But
so quick question, Seth. Did you say you like one? Did you say like 1 or 2% Caucasian? Don't you have that in?
Chinese.
No, go okay. I'll just go check out. So you're a racist.
Y'all are fooling.
I don't think that 2% count.
Yeah,
absolutely. By the way, it absolutely. And I'm not sure if it's 2% or 5%, but it's percent. Okay, it's in there somewhere. All right. So we ain't gonna get into all of it. But anyway, that's interesting because like, okay, so when you read that definition, I was okay. So the superior race, like I'm trying to figure out, okay, but what does it mean by superior?
So pretty much,
does it mean like economically superior?
It means the
Does it
people who
mean-
won and wrote the history books.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, history is very one-sided. You hear the side of side of history of the people who won. It's hard to get the facts of the people who lost, even when it comes to like slavery. I was talking to one of my coworkers and he was like, my family owned slaves. And mind you, slavery, it hasn't even been like a full, like, it's been recent since slavery has ended. That's not like a faraway thing. So he was like, my family owned slaves. He has all the documentation of all, like everything. Their family has all of that. Now you try and talk to like me trying to find my ancestry. He can trace his family all the way back to like the beginning of time. But me, on the other hand, I'm trying to figure out my ancestry and I can't track
Ancestry.com, here
them
I
back
come.
because
It's like, I gotta figure it
I
out.
already did that, but simply because of the fact
Yeah.
that we didn't have documentation. So whenever the slaves were emancipated, whenever that happened, because we all know it didn't happen, you know, they got it late. So they were free, but still working for free. They was getting their free labor. So whenever the slaves were emancipated, they didn't know what to do. They didn't have last names. So most of them took the names of the plantation owners, or they just like, okay, I'm gonna be Lincoln because, you know, I'm going to be this. So they would pick names and that's just kind of how we came. So that's why you get a lot of Browns. You get a lot of like, what's a common, I can't think of common
Well,
last names,
so like, no, like,
but
but like with my last name, Taylor,
Taylor.
I'm pretty sure it was really more like a tailor, like someone that tailors.
Yeah, but
I think it, like, that's just my wild guess, but I'm pretty
but
sure that would have made sense back then.
super common last names that you see, it's because of
What they
those are the
did.
reasons that they got those last names. And so they just picked them. And so you can't necessarily trace back because again, there was no documentation. There was no paper saying like, this was your name before you became a slave. They were sold into slavery and given numbers, and that's how they were tracked.
That's why we don't have names like Kintikute anymore. My name is Seth.
You're something else.
I'm saying.
You are really something else.
My name could have been Kutakente.
So yeah, but yeah, that's, I think that just when it comes down to it, there's a lot of things that can be frustrating because it's like there's, again, the people who won and then they're telling the story. And then now you hear all of the stuff coming out, everything coming out. Like even with Indigenous Peoples Day, like it's now Indigenous Peoples Day. It's not Christopher Columbus Day no more. Some of y'all who still be trying to call it Columbus Day. But you know, it's like the truth is finally coming out from these situations because of things like people are speaking up or things, history is being found out that was lost. And so I think that part is cool that there's still like, in a sense, redemption. Like there's still hope that things can be corrected and that maybe not put back right, but you know, put back better, if that makes sense, than what it has been.
Okay, that's interesting. You said not put back right, but put back better.
Because it's
Would
never
this
been right.
be- Oh, sorry. So would this be the worst before the better? Would you say that in a way?
I would hope it would be.
So we've been in the worst forever. I'm still waiting for the better, honestly.
Well, you know, okay, so we saying that like, you know, we are Americans, right? Like everyone who's in America, you're an American, right? So it all comes down to the individual. Perfect example, me and my son, Manny, we were just talking about like the earth as far as like recycling and litter and trash or whatever, how like human beings have kind of like messed up the world's atmosphere and all kind of stuff, right? And so like I asked him, I was okay, so man, like how do you think it's gotten so bad? Like how do we get this messed up?
Yeah.
And then I was like, so if I was walking down the street and like I had a soda can and I was done with my soda can, but I didn't see no trash near me and I just threw it on the ground, what do you think I was thinking? And Manny was like, oh, that it's not that big of a deal because I'm just one person. How's that one can gonna mess up, you know, like the environment?
That's good.
But then Manny was like, wait, everyone thinks that. Because it's so like literally that's really what it is that it comes down to the individual. That's why I don't put my faith in the president, because one man cannot change everything. He can change some stuff. He's empowered to change some things, but at the end of the day, people gotta apply with that, and apply with that and go with it. And so that's why when it comes to like elections, I don't get super hype about it. Now I will do it because I know that people bled and sacrificed for me to be able to go vote in my country. Sure, absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's just like, what's more powerful than my vote? Me. Like what am I voting for every day? You know what I'm saying? Like how is how I'm living going to make my America better or greater? And so yeah, that's just the way I look at it. Like, is it the worst before the better? That depends how I live. Like that depends on what I'm gonna do about my today. That's how I would answer that.
Good answer. So what can you do differently?
What can I do differently?
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I've been kind of passive aggressive in the past about things going on in our world or in our country. And what I need to do is not to be passive aggressive, but to do as much as I can as putting positive vibes in the air. Like, once again, like I don't believe in, making things exist longer than they need to as far as negative stuff goes. But if I'm going to say something, well, the point is to say something, but to have victory or to have a solution. And so kind of bring some peace into the matter.
Legit.
Mm-hmm.
What say you, AJ?
Honestly, I think it's going to have to get worse, in my opinion.
You think it's gonna get worse than what it already is? Well,
no, honestly, I think it will have to.
Yeah.
I think it will need to get worse than what it is, because in my opinion, like let's just look at the facts with America, how it bounced back to glory or whatever. We hit a low, so we can not even go back. Let's go back to the 60s when MLK was killed. Everybody was killed back then. It was a low point, and everybody was like, whoa. Now we just killing off everybody. Okay, let's go up. Okay, that was good for that time. Now things are everybody more brazen about it. Don't care. Social media, everything is posted it. And with America, we got to the point where we feel ourselves and we feel like we can do whatever we want, say whatever we want, and just get away with it and do with it. Now, some people have privileges for that and some people don't. But as for a whole, as a country, to be great, because we was never great.
Right.
But we was okay, but we was never a great country. But for us to actually be great, we have to get to that lowest point where it's unanimous decision. Like right now, people still struggling, they're still fighting it. But for us to get better as a whole, as a country, it has to be unanimous. Everybody got to be on board. Perfect example, when World War II happened, everybody got on board when Pearl Harbor happened. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Nobody was like, I don't know. Everybody said, what? Let's get it. 9/11 happened, everybody was on board. It's like, we have to have something's big gonna have to happen. I just know it's gonna happen, just looking at the rate that we're going. But when it happens, I think that's when we're finally gonna say, all right, we gotta do better as a whole. Or at the end of the day, somebody gonna come over and just, something's gonna happen to us where we're gonna lose our country like that. There's like a civil war might happen. And I don't want that to happen. But it was almost feel like we're on a verge of heading towards a civil war within. And I'm like, why would we have to go through that again? But like, why? There's no need to go through that at this point. But yet, people are still, like Seth said, it's come down to individuals. People are still locked in on how they felt growing up. It's all how they was taught growing up. They still still stuck in their ways. So in my honest opinion, I just feel like that's where we're headed. Where we're headed right now is a civil war, which is going to be the worst. And then the winner out of that's how we're going to get better after that. So that's my opinion.
I feel like we already have like all of these killings like going on, these fights between Americans and cops. Like recently, the storming into the White House. I said the Capitol. I keep doing
No,
that.
it's the Capitol. It's not the White House.
The Capitol. Okay, I keep doing that. So I feel like what can be worse? Like I feel like it's already worse. You have like all of these things going on. You just gotta I guess just hope for a better day. I don't know. America's just wild for no reason.
Yeah.
You're still a kid.
It's like a little kid having a tantrum.
If you look at it compared to all the other countries, America, I think we're more like one of the youngest ones still. Like,
Oh yeah.
One of the youngest ones that's established. So we're like in our teenage years right now. Probably. If we like to do it based off everybody else, we probably in our teenage years. So we're at the rebellion stage.
Like we're Rome or something. We're like Rome. It's like
No, and it's true. Like we literally like America, like it's people see America as this like completely great, we ain't got nothing wrong with us, like type thing because of all the propaganda we put out, you know?
Right.
But like then they see stuff like what happened on January 6th and they're sitting there like, what's that? I thought you had it all together. And then it's like they, you know, we have these mass shootings that happen. We have all these things that happen that aren't common around the world, but are common in America. And it's like, what can we do differently? Like, because whatever we are doing, and maybe it's because we're trying too hard to like, hey, we're here. Like, maybe that's not, you know, I don't know. It's like, what is it that causes us to feel like we could be like we're the redheaded stepchild even though we're not? Like and it's true. Like it's like, okay, so as Americans, like again, I'm bringing this up again, like we all and I totally understand it. Like there's a lot of people that come from different places, and maybe that's what it is because everybody comes from different places. And it's like wanting to keep the culture because that's what America's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about, you know, being able to be free, being able to be diverse, being yourself. And so we like have this identity, but we don't have this identity. So then everybody comes with their own identities, which then causes all the, you know, rifts and everything that's happening. Because like, think about it. Like at the end of the day, would you really be okay with being called an American? Like if you were just supposed to be an American, flat blank, would you be like, okay, cool, I'm an American?
It's an interesting question. I've never been called an American.
So
I don't know.
we're talking about knowing how everything is now.
Yeah, knowing how even maybe let's say like, okay, after 9/11 happened, okay, what if America decided to say, you're no longer African American, you're no longer Mexican American, you're no longer just, you know, everybody's American, and we all got on the same page in that moment. Like, and then moving forward, we're just all Americans. Like how, like, I feel like what happened wouldn't have happened. Things would be different because at that point, like we're all, again, we're doing the crude thing, betterments, cavemen coming together, you know, like, but because like it's so hung up on, I have to be better. Like this, like I am this race and I need to be better. Like it's like people are so caught up on that there's like, it's like there's no room for change. Like to me personally, I feel like this was up there with 9/11. Like this is us doing it to ourselves.
I mean, it was considered terrorism. So
it was a terrorist attack.
It's considered terrorism.
It was terrorism.
It's freaking a joke, but
like the fact, but like But and then on top of that, all these other countries, you're seeing what happened. So what does that say? That says that we can get in just as easily.
Right? Yeah.
That they're dumb too.
Have y'all not seen
Yeah.
Who has fallen? Olympus has fallen, London has fallen. Yo, they got so many movies like that.
Well,
White House Down.
Right. So yeah, I mean like okay, real quick. Like I went on a tour called Become 2016 all around America, and this really helped to shift a lot of mindsets. Crazy. Like anyway. So we went to historical sites. We went to all 50 states looking at monuments and like moments in our country that helped us change, and a lot of them were for the better, and not all of them, but a lot of them for like the Freedom Bell, like in Philly, like Philadelphia. So like America has not always been I try to say this, has not always been a crap show. You know, there's people and individuals like Martin Luther King, you know, that has pushed us in the right direction.
Heck yes.
And so it's just like a lot of it is like how, and this is not like this is more of a hypothetical question, but it's like how can we support good leaders, you know, because we don't like, I don't know how Trump got in there in the first place.
I thought it was a joke. Dead serious. I thought it was a whole joke.
But not only how can we support good positive leaders or whatever, or good leaders, but it's like how can I help build leaders, you know, like how can I build myself as a leader, you know, maybe not always as a president, but like it's just like in everyday life. And so anyway, that, and like there was a lot of emotional attachment to that tour that I went on, because it's like we went to a Quaker house. If you don't know what a Quaker house is basically a white person or a white family, whatever, who would basically help slaves basically escape from their masters or from their slave owners. Mm-hmm. Like there has been Americans from the beginning, you know, that were looking at the injustice. Like it's not all one-sided, you know, like, and so there's a lot of sacrifices that go unseen, but we focus so much on the negative. And so I think kind of answering that question that we did, like is this the worst before the better, is a like, it's all about your perspective. Like not everybody can travel to all 50 states and get the experience that I got, but I would definitely suggest, if you can, get out of your bubble, travel somewhere, do something different, and experience something from a different culture that you never experienced. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like get out of your normal perspective, and that goes for everybody. Mm-hmm. And so yeah. I like Caleb he just posted on there. He said accountability within our own community is key. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's good. We had a lot of comments, man. We had a lot of comments. Yeah, no, we definitely. It was too hard to. I was like, man, yeah. But no, that's huge. Accountability with our own community is key, and like I think, just to piggyback on that, is like our own community doesn't have to be as big as all of, you know, the Black folk. It could be as simple as ourselves, because we're our first community. Mm-hmm. So keeping accountability with ourselves, then extending that accountability to our family. And then from there, it's like you'll start seeing that culture shift. And so just like how Seth was talking about with Manny earlier, just because you're one person, it does not mean that you can't make a difference. Because if you think that you can't make a difference, other people are thinking the exact same thing. So you as one person can make a difference. It starts with you. So it starts and it ends with you. Facts. So yeah, no, that was, thank you, Caleb, for that nugget. That was good. But yeah, whoa. So thank y'all for coming on this January 6th roller coaster with us. There's a lot. There was a lot there, but and thank you everybody who tuned in. Siobhan, see you girl, Shayla,
Hey.
That's my cousin.
I know. And Liz, hey, how are you doing? Thank y'all again. Sorry, I'm not seeing everybody. I'm just trying to call the ones that I've seen so far.
And I'm gonna say this one last thing. I'll be quiet.
There you go.
I know. I said that before, didn't I?
Speak your piece.
Because I think it was Siobhan who's. I didn't read the full thing that she was saying, but man, we can't forget that. So, for example, with the Israelites, they were a unique culture of people because they had no physical king, they had no president or anybody like that.
Mm-hmm.
But their king was God, and before they asked God for a king, that's what made them unique.
Yeah.
That's what made them stand out. That's what made them powerful. Is that because they understood that they couldn't put their trust in man, but then of course all the other kingdoms surrounding them all had a king. They had a person, to appoint those things. And it's not that a king was a bad thing, because God actually end up giving them a king, but there was so much tragedy that happened after God provided them with a human king or whatever, because they started worshiping idols. They started losing their way. They started forgetting what God has done and how God has protected them in the past, from all their enemies. And so I'm saying all that to say this, is that I'm not saying that we got to go storm the Capitol and to get rid of the president, all that. I mean, we can do all the impeachments all we want all day, whatever. But what I am saying is this, is if we're going to have a president, let's pray to God that he prays to God. You know what I'm saying? Let's pray and make sure that we're doing our part in the spiritual realm, that Joe Biden, like when he doesn't know what to do, you know what I'm saying, that he doesn't listen only to his human counselors, but that he would take time to hear from God, because that's really what's going to make the difference.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, as individuals, we got to make sure that we're doing the same thing, in these crazy times that we're living in. Is like, okay, we can talk about this all day, we can be all hype, but it's like, but have you even considered what God is asking or is advising you to do during this time, besides just post on social media, And so, yeah, I had to say that, because like I just want to make sure that we don't forget that, the answer to all of our problems is really like understanding the mind of God.
For sure.
And seeking that out. So, yeah.
So again, thank you all for joining us this evening. It's about time to wrap up. I'm so sad. We gotta go. But hopefully you definitely will take away, one, the difference between being racist and prejudiced, because that is a thing, as well as just making 2021, like, it's up to you. It's up to you to make it the best that you can. So it has to start with you. And more than anything, we're all in this together. So again, right, we're all in this together. When they said it best on High School Musical. Sang it best.
Who knew that they were prophetic?
Right. But
right.
So don't forget, y'all, if you have not already, hit the like button to our page right here, and then subscribe to our YouTube page, Creative Awakening Movement. You can also find us on Spotify, so that way you can check out the podcast. We also have Instagram and TikTok. TikTok is slightly different. You're going to do ISSA SMOOVEMENT. It's a smoothment.
It's a smoothment.
Okay.
Hold on. You lost
It's a smoothment.
So we're going to test her later and make sure she's back.
Look, I done typed this out a couple times. I know what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, AJ, can you take us away?
I got you.
Yep. Jesus hit him with that stunner like he's stone cold. Then I raised from the tomb into some royalty that's rose gold. We got a heavy foot on the accelerator, going up. We got a heavy foot on the accelerator, going up. Came in with no reservation. Came in with no hesitation. Came in with no medication. But we left with all the validation in the room. Once I was done, we dropped the mic, then we dip like vroom, 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 vroom.
I'm dead. We will see y'all again in 2 weeks. Join us because we're about to get into some grimy, not for real grimy, but we're about to have some deep conversation. Somebody asked for this topic and we are bringing it to them. We will be talking about
Find out.
literally find out on Facebook.
January 29th.
Don't storm any capitals.
Yeah, don't do that.
And happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, y'all.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday. I see you, big dog.